service I would have been. And I've also come to realize that we like this also made mistakes when we were much younger. And when I want to talk about this kind of things, I remember my life when I was in university. Because as a young boy at that time, the peer pressure, you are a student union president and you have official car of 504 GR as of 1983. You know what that means, it gets into your head. And you go to any university, there's someone keeping on there for you. And so there was one day I was even so drunk that I went to the back seat of the car and asked them that they followed the steering of the car. That was how bad it was. And that was the kind of life that most young boys or girls also think they can live. And by the time you live that kind of life and sustain it for a long time, get to age 30 and 35, if you not stop them, you realize what it will be like when you get to age 40. You'll be using walking stick to walk. But that will not be our portion. And I've come out to realize that since I lived that kind of life, I had to train my own children not to follow that path because it's not a good path. And so you see young boys, and from Wednesday when it was ladies' night in Unical and all that, then Friday, of course, it's parties, today break and Saturday. You can't live that kind of life and hope to have a life above 60 years that will be very, very nice for you. So the first thing is to ensure that this prevention you are talking about starts from early age. And not somewhere when you're about 60, 70, you now start thinking of dropping Coca-Cola and all that, and other minerals. You have to start that early enough. And train your children and train others around you to ensure that these things are taken early enough. Like he said, rightly said, prevention is not just better but cheaper than cure. And most times if you take the preventive part to your health, is far. Like someone said this afternoon, 5 years I have not had malaria and typhoid. Since 2012, I'm not treated for that. And I keep testing because I'm a medical license. I run a medical laboratory in usage 3. So I keep testing and I've not had it. And that's because my immune system has taken care of that. And you can work up your immune system to the extent in which you can handle these things for you. Your immune system is there. It's like an army barracks. The lymphocytes in the system, the eosinophils and the neutrophils and the rest of them, they are there. Monocytes, they have their functions. And if these things are well maintained, you see, you have what we call the innate system and the adaptive. The innate system is anything that wants to come into your system, into your body now. That's the innate one. That's your skin will prevent that infection from coming in. But when it successfully enters, that's the adaptive system that will handle that issue. And when that adaptive system is not well taken care of by virtue of the things you bring into your system, you realize that your system can easily break down. Take for instance, you see an adult, so they have been possibly less than 10 years. You go to the village, let's use the village for instance. You go to the village and see all those small girls. They don't wear pants, they are sitting on sand playing, those girls. They don't have discharge. You notice that as an adult, you'll try going into one dirty place and don't dress properly, and then you see what happens to you. Eating, discharge, and everything. So you see, these things are things that we have to prevent and learn how to prevent them. Now I'm a member of Focus. We normally time ourselves. Let me look at what, so I can be looking at it. Well, that's what they do there in Focus plan. When we give you time, we expect that you keep that time. Doctor did very well with it. Dr. Nathan did a very good job on that. And I don't want to go below that standard. And so you look at our health indices. At one time or the other in your life, there are certain diseases that will overcome your body, and you eventually will have to treat one way or the other or take care of it. But if you can take good care of your health, most of these ones can be prevented. There are some that naturally you can't. But some will naturally be taken care of by virtue of your lifestyle. And this lifestyle I'm talking about mostly will depend on your hygiene and the diets you take on daily basis or regular basis. There was this girl that came to the lab some days ago and complained that she's been having discharge and itching and all that. When we asked her questions, we realized that actually she's been treated because she kept saying, I've gone to this place, I've gone to this place. In my mind I said, God, we make lab not be included in that, I've gone to that place. But by the time I sat her down to talk about it, I realized she shares her sponge and soap dish and towel with her friends in school. So when I took time to ask her these questions, and I told her, no, as a girl, you cannot share your sponge and your towel with not even your mother, not your auntie, not your sister, but you can share with a man. Because if you have that discharge and you are using the same sponge, you can't really guarantee that. So don't share your sponge or your belay your pants or undies or trousers, because most times when they wear these trousers for these younger ones, I know, because when we have to look at them, I know, I hear this, I see this thing. So don't share these things with your females. If you are using ties, don't share with your friends. If you know you are going to use trousers, don't share it. Men can share that trouser, but not women. So by the time we now advised her, and she went and she was treated, and she prevented the infection, that girl was okay. It was just that she was reinfecting herself. Maybe she wasn't washing her pants well, and maybe she was also sharing the sponge and towel with her friends. You know that wet towel, when she's cleaning herself, we go deep inside to clean herself, she will carry candida from there. The candida is just yeast. Candida is just yeast that causes discharge and itching in women. And so she would just carry it from one place to the other and realize that when she treats herself, her friend will not treat. And so she will go and carry from her friend and vice versa, and it kept coming and coming and coming. But by the time we were able to handle her well and give her advice on how not to infect herself, she was completely okay. So that was prevention. And that also meant that she was not well counseled at where she went to seek for help. And if she had been well counseled at that point, she would not have suffered that at all. And there are so many things that we do when we're younger in our lives. Some people still do it and others do. You hear people say, when I was young, my parents were poor, I was not able to eat meat. Now that I'm rich, I can afford it. Me, I'll eat my meat too. Don't say those things, they don't work. And then I went to, usually these days, not even these days, for a long time, of course, since I was about 27, 28 years old, less than 30 years, I realized my lifestyle as a university student was a different thing altogether. So I turned around before I was age 30. That's why since I can still celebrate and do a lot of things with my life without having to carry any walking stick and doing any of those things, because I stopped those things early on in life. I came to the realization that I cannot continue like this and live this life. And therefore I came to it on time. So one of the fundamental things that we have to look at will be that diet thing. And then when you're younger too, you realize that sex is a main thing. One of the things that also helped me as a young boy then was that when HIV came out, one of the first centers after Ibadan was Calabar. That was possibly because Professor Ekanem, who was the national director of HIV in Nigeria at the time, being a then Crossriver and Akwa, decided that Unical should have a center. And I was a student then, and my HOD then realized that this particular boy, I need to keep him down to teaching these things so that he will know that it's not just syphilis and gonorrhea that they can treat. So he made me part of the team that were going around Calabar to test. That was when I learned seriously about condom. But I also know that my friends were not so lucky because they didn't know about those things. And that's why today in my facility, we give condoms free to those who have hepatitis B and hepatitis C and HIV. It's free. We give it free. I've learned from my earlier life, and fortunately for me too, I left those kind of attitudes early enough in life. That's why I grew up to be that. And so if you now involve yourself so much in where we don't have a lot of very young people who are careless, if you get so much involved in those activities, you see that with that carelessness, you're likely to end up with a lot of diseases. You're going to end up with that unwanted pregnancies, and you're trying to terminate in order to hide from either I would disgrace my parents, of course, who were in school then, and of course in the hostel there were other medical students there, and even at that level, they were doing D&C in hostels, and but for us, because we knew enough about those things, we could even make sure that the girl was not even pregnant. So we knew those who were in other places who brought those girls to us. And if you see the way the students were going about these things, I prayed and prayed and I prayed that none of those ones would fall victim, because they were just practicing. Today it was fun. Today they didn't see it as anything evil, but some of them were actually complicated. I remember one particular occasion, one of my friends got involved in, and that girl nearly lost her life. And so some of these will have to teach our young ones that the citizen process can be very sweet in marriage, not out of marriage. If I were in the church, I would have said president of the Lord. So we have to look at those things. So let me take a look at the diseases that are very common in our days that we can't prevent. You have diabetes. And I grew up in Ekanem, Kano, and Kaduna axis. I spent 35 years in that axis between Kano, Ekanem, and Kaduna. 13 years in Ekanem, 2 years in Kaduna, and the rest of them in Kaduna. 2 in Kano, 12 in Ekanem, and the rest in Kaduna. And in practicing in those areas, I realized one thing, about the farming of us. Being in Katsina, I realized that the Katsina man wakes up, apologies to those who are from the bed. I'm telling you what I've seen in practice. So it's not to irritate anybody here. They wake up and go to Mishai in the morning. And when they go to Mishai, they pour in all the sugar you can think of in that tea and drink. And then Merege will pass in the morning, in the afternoon later, the man is sitting down somewhere. They will choose sugar cane. See, the liver does not understand the difference between granulated sugar and sugar cane. All of them are sugar to the liver. And so to the liver is sugar, even from honey. It's just that fortunately the one in honey is more of lactose, which can easily be handled by the liver. And most of the percentage is lower than maybe sugar cane and other sugars that we take. And so when they take it, they will say, it's not dry sugar now, nothing will happen. The liver does not understand the difference between the two. So sugar to the liver is sugar. And when it gets into the system, it's a different ball game altogether. And so you see, even though I've not done a lot of studies on it, but from my practice experience, I realized that when you see our brethren from the farmer coming in, they're always coming in with a diabetes situation because they take a lot of sugar up here than there. Now in the southwest, you will really find them with colon cancer. They take a lot of pepper. You see that thing, as soon as it goes, the Yoruba doesn't stay in the toilet for long. It's the southeast that stays in the toilet for long. Because the pepper is so much that when he goes to the toilet, it's done with it. It comes out. So colon cancer, what will it say to the blood? It's gone. So some disease conditions are actually peculiar to some areas. So when I'm taking on the north, because my practice life has been mostly in the north, and you see those areas there, and those things are preventable, and it needs education, enlightenment, and to let them understand that the sugar content. And when you see it, I don't know how it came to be. Most of the things that people consume in their area is the things that they don't produce. In the north, they don't produce cola nuts. They take so much of it. You understand? So you see some of these things, like they wanted provided watermelon, all these are sugary fruits, and they love sweet things. So maybe the education should be there in their schools, in mosques, in churches, that people should reduce intake of sugar here. And then you have hypertension also being a common disease condition here in the country. That's something that is also preventable, just like diabetes. It can be prevented. It's something that you can look at and see your lifestyle. I went to a restaurant and saw somebody when he was eating, he said, they should bring in salt. If you see the amount of salt you put into that, this thing. And meanwhile, he goes so drunk virtually every day. By 11 o'clock, he's still in the club, dancing by 3, 4, and that's when he's going back home drunk. He prepares after 1 hour, 2 hours, and goes to work. The guy died, I think, some months back. He couldn't make it up to his 52nd birthday. From club, he goes to work. From work, he manages to come home to take 1 hour. Nobody should have less than 6 hours sleep in a given day. And that's another common disease that we hear. Lack of sleep. True, especially for the elderly. You know, and the elderly, in particular, the grandmothers they are warriors. They have a lot of worrying. They worry a lot for the children, for the grandchildren, for everybody. And so if you worry, what is it going to do for you? Worry can never really stop what you should do. There are so many other disease conditions that I can go on and on that are common. I started with the young girls.